Back to Block 2, Unit 4. We will understand today what is rural consumer and how they buy things out of for the companies, right? After completing this chapter, you will get to know how rural consumers make buying decisions, how cultural social factors impact their choices. We will also get to know the key influencer in rural decision making like family or community leaders. We will evaluate the role of personal traits or personal characteristics such as age and occupation of the buyer. And after getting all this knowledge, you can apply this knowledge to develop effective rural marketing strategies for your company. Let's introduce the topic to you, rural buying behavior and the influencing factors. The untapped potential. As in the previous chapter or previous unit, we understood there are huge potential in the rural areas. Let's summarize this again. Out in the rural sector, all around like 68.84% of the population live in rural areas as per the census 2021. Several other brands find it challenging to sustain in rural market because of differences in rural consumer behavior as per their culture, preferences, education, income and occupation. They are way different from the urban buyers, but almost 70% of the India's population lives in rural areas. Rural markets still have massive demand for FMCG, durable technical products. Many companies like ITC, LG, Dabur, they have started penetrating into rural market long back in the year 1990s. For example, rural consumers prefer to wash clothes with their hands, but with a change in consumption behavior, we have seen the demand for large size semi-automatic washing machine in rural market nowadays. Dhabas in Punjab use semi-automatic machines for preparing lassi that we discussed in the last unit. Ambassador cars are popular in rural market due to their capacity to run on rough roads of village and luggage spaces. FMCG products with low prices or smaller packs like Navaratna oil of 1 rupee sachets are easily acceptable in rural market. These are few examples just to give an introduction of this topic to you. Let's understand who is a rural buyer and what are the challenges of the marketer in introducing their product in rural India. We understood the potential of rural market, but there are many challenges as well. Some key challenges are understanding the buyer psychology and preferences that are influenced by deep rooted tradition. What is the psychology of the buyer? How do they buy? And what are the factors that influence their buying decision? The marketer need to understand. In rural market, we understood there is a poor infrastructure, there are poor communication pattern in rural belt. So companies are not able to reach to the reaching, not able to available or avail their products to the customer need because of difficult physical distribution. Unreliable marketing communication due to low media penetration in some areas. Marketer must adapt their strategies to work within this constraint or the challenges. For example, Nokia 1100 model was designed with a non-slip silicon coating on its keypad and side to resist the damage caused by the dust common in arid climates. They also observed that an energy efficient flashlight is helping farmers during the power blackout, and this basic model will withstand with more battery life. That is the reason rural market has adopted or accepted this model of telephone or the phone, that is Nokia 1100. This is just an example. What are the roles of marketers in creating the urge to buy? This basic duty of a marketer is to create the need of buying something. Marketers expose rural consumers to product informations through varieties of channels, variety of word of mouth, but they need to create the customer product information or they will expose the rural consumers to product information. They will demonstrate our local influencer endorsement to build the trust about the product among the rural buyers. The visibility they need to create through hearts, melas, and post office to increase the adoption to the product. For example, if SSG group of a rural market or a particular village gives the demo of a solar lamp, that will create the trust among the villages or the buyers, and they will create the urge to purchase the solar lamp in place of traditional lanterns. For example, Detal Swachh Bharat campaign, they have started demonstrating hand washing in schools and village, and they created and they turned hygiene into a recognized need. Previously, people are not so very comfortable in washing, not very regular in washing their hands, but after the campaign of Detal Swachh Bharat, this hygiene need is now a recognized need, and Detal has introduced this product to cater this need of the people. Demonstration will definitely build that trust through post office, through hearts, through melas, endorsement of the local influencers like Sarpanch and teachers of the local schools will have a trust effect, or it can build the trust among the people. And marketers in rural India cannot only rely on TV advertisements. Demonstration in community spaces, endorsement of the local people or trusted leaders will definitely will have an impact on the buying decision of the buyers. So let's understand why it is important to understanding rural consumer matters, or why it is important for the marketers to understand rural consumer behavior. Because rural consumers are unique in nature. They are highly influenced by their communities, they are price sensitive, they often rely on trust based buying rather than advertisement. With growing access to media and rising literacy, their preferences have changed. Companies that understand and respect rural mindset by focusing on their value, their trust, their agricultural relevance can win the rural market space. A rural marketing strategy must go beyond simply extending the urban plans. Rural consumers are always price sensitive, community driven and evolving. So also the marketer need to understand what is the price they are giving for rural market. Growth in rural consumption is being observed because of increase or enhancement in literacy rate and exposure to the media. This is a green signal for the marketers. Marketers need to fix the strategies to tap the rural market by understanding their buying behavior. Let's understand the process of buying decision. It starts with need recognitions or problem recognition. Then they go for information search. After collecting the information, they go for evaluation of alternatives. Then finally, they land at the purchase decision. After purchasing the product, they also go for post-purchase behavior. We will understand each steps in detail. Let's understand problem or need recognition. The buying process starts when the consumer recognizes the need for some product or services. This stage is initiated by some stimulus, which could be both internal and external. In rural areas, majority of the people are guided more by their needs than pleasure and luxury. They are preferably buy products those are needed for their regular activities or for their need satisfaction. They are hardly guided by the principle of luxury purchasing. When it comes to biological needs like hunger and thirst, no external motivation is required, but marketers put extra effort to sell a new mobile handset because it comes in the category of a luxury item with innovative strategy in village melas and fairs. This diagram is simply telling you that when it comes to internal needs, a buyer will definitely purchase a packet of biscuit if he is hungry and he wants to eat something. But when it comes to purchasing a TV set, mobile handset, the marketer has to introduce some innovative marketing strategy to create the need in buyers or rural buyers, then selling their products. Rural consumer example. Let's go beyond the basics with a person named as Hasbir. It is there in your study material. A farmer from Nagpur wanted a good paint for his pakka house because the one he used earlier peeled off quickly. So he was frustrated by the last use of the paint. On the advice of his village sarpanch, that is the rural influencer or the trust building influencer, he checked the Asian paint Uschab range that had been used on the local post office walls as a demonstration. So he visited the local post office. He saw by himself the quality of the paint of Asian paint Uschab, and he was impressed by the sign and the durability because it was painted before a year in local post office. So he decided to buy it from Nagpur for his house for this Diwali. What it signifies? It signifies that customer identifies a need, that is to purchase a paint. Then he searches for the alternatives. What are the information about the paint? He gathered all about that. Then he met with a person who is a local influencer, Sarpanch of the particular village. Then he watched or saw the demonstration of the particular product. Then he finally took the solution of purchasing the paint of a particular brand, that is Asian Paint Uschaps. Same also, Ramesh, a farmer in small village near Gaya, Bihar, struggles with frequent power cuts. His family often sits in dark at night and kerosene lamps are smoky and costly. So he realizes that he needs a better source of light. So here the need has started arising to purchase a better product than the kerosene lamps. So after identifying the need, Ramesh will go for the information search of the product. Once a consumer recognizes a need, the next step is the search of information. In rural markets, this stage is shaped by limited resources, strong community ties, and reliance on trusted sources, as we discuss about the Sarpanch. They search through Pradhan or Mukhya of the particular village, then discuss the need of their requirement, then they go for the sales and distributor as suggested by their Pradhan, and they used to see the product by themselves. So two sources of information is internal, that is their past experience. Suppose a buyer has purchased a particular product before 2 years, he has the experience of using that product, that becomes the internal sources of information. Or else he can go for external sources of information through friends, through neighbors, through sarpanch, through shopkeepers, through media, or through demonstration, that creates the trust or that gives the information about the product to the buyer. Personal sources of information are also available, like through their families, friends, relatives, owners of the products in the same village, or the relatives living in urban areas. So what the rural consumer does, rural consumer first turn to people they trust. As we discussed, Sarpanch family or distant relatives who has used the product. Then they gather the information from these sources for evaluation of information. Next comes commercial and public sources. It is again limited for a rural buyer because they are not very exposed to salespersons, not very exposed to advertisement, packing, dealers, and advertisement. Limited sources are there like TV, radio, and print media. They will get the placards or they will get the leaflet in their local newspaper. So sources of commercial and public sources are limited for a rural buyer. So, though ads and salespeople exist, rural buyers treat them a bit cautious. They are very conservative while exposing their need to commercial advertisement. Television and radio are influential but not as powerful as advice from a trusted person. Marketing strategies must combine both public and personal channels to enter into the market of rural market. Then it comes to experiential sources. When the buyer has purchased a particular product, he has touched it and felt the product, he has a different set of feedback for the product. Demonstration at exhibition, melas, and road shows are influential for a rural buyer. Trial packs for low risk testing. Sometime, as you must have experienced this thing during hearts and melas, they used to cut a piece of fruit and they will request you to taste the particular fruit before buying it. This is called trial packs. This is just an example, but for a product of high ticket values or high price, they will give you a small product or a sample product to taste for a few days. Then after getting the satisfaction of using that particular product, the buyer will come back and purchase the whole product. That is called trial packs, because this has an objective that the buyer will test the product or experience the product by touching and feeling it. Experiential sources matter most for the rural buyers. Villagers prefer to test before buying, like touching fabric while purchasing the sarees for themselves. Testing a food sample, watching a live demo of a solar lantern. So the solar lantern. So melas and hearts become hubs for this kind of learning or educating the customer about the product the marketers plan to introduce in rural markets. So these sources of information, like we discussed, about personal sources of information, in then commercial sources of information, then experiential sources of information are equally important for a marketer while he is deciding to sell the product in a rural belt. The sources of information the marketer will gather and simplify them for the rural belt or the rural people to understand, because every advertisement is not that simple and all are not educated in rural belt to understand that. So they need to simplify the informations. So marketers should communicate in a way rural people connect with those, like street plays, nukkad natak, fairs, mobile vans, and demos. Because if they don't understand the advertisement, how they will purchase the product? How they will collect the information about the product? So marketers need to plan or strategize their way of communicating with the people of rural belt. Let it be a nukkad natak or gali natak or a fair where the person itself is making them understand about the product. Mobile vans having large hoardings and large posters with communication through mics and demonstration. Linking products with the rural day-to-day needs makes marketing relative. You must have seen the thelawalas, the person who is having huge products hanging from both the side of the cycle or the motorcycle. They used to visit gullies and each doorstep to give the demonstration of the product, and the rural people usually get connected with this kind of sellers in their rural belt. So, for a modern product seller or a marketer of a FMCG company, they also need to understand this, how to get connected with the rural buyer, because at the day end, these are the customers who are going to buy the product from you. So, from the last example that we discussed about the purchase decision of a paint for husbands, he has utilized three sources of information. First is personal source that the Sarpanch guided him to Asian Paints Worcester. Then he went to the post office to have the experiential source because he touched it, he felt it, he get the feedback that there was no damage to the product or no damage to the paint even if it was painted 1 year back. Then what was the buying decision? He has the trust of buying this particular brand's product and he purchased it. So this is a solid example how these rural buyers purchase their requirement or how they satisfy their need through the process of information search. Then they do the evaluation of alternatives and what is it. Consumers compare brands on key attributes. Suppose Hasbir, he has used a different set of different brand last time for his painting or house painting. He knew the attributes of the particular paint. Now he is comparing the old brand's attribute with Asian Paint Uschav's attribute. Like for example, he has taken characteristics of the last paints that it was not that effective after 1 year, but when he saw the Usha paint on post office walls and compared it, he understood that this brand is performing well even after the use of 1 year. This is the way they used to compare the information they have gathered through the sources. Rural range is narrower, brand loyalty is high due to familiarity and past use. Very rarely they change their brands. If they are satisfied with one brand, they will keep on continuing with the brand. Attribute weights differ by buyers and situations. In this stage, rural consumers shortlist and compare the options. Limited assortment and strong familiarity makes them brand loyal, but comparison still happens, especially on practical criteria. Let's say, suppose they will not stop comparing if they get a negative feedback on their preferred brand. So they will keep on comparing with the products to have a better product for their value given. So how do rural buyers compare? They compare on price and affordability. How much they're paying and what is the how much they can afford. If the price is there, they in their budget list, they compare that. Quality and durability. What is the quality and what is the durability of the product? Usually, in experience, you must have seen rural buyers always go for durability. If they're purchasing a bed sheet, even they always go for thick material or thick fabric because it will go for minimum 4 to 5 years of their use. Even if they buy the clothes for their children, they always buy the higher size or the upper size of the particular dress because they want to use that particular dress for their children, even if they grow in their height. So these are the way they used to compare the products, they used to buy the product. They also compare on usage method and easy of use, how comfortable they are comfortable in using that product. Availability and service, is the product available to them? If post purchase service is again available to them, they also compare on that. Maintenance cost and warranty, they are very particular about the warranty period because they understand it gives them a trust issue or trust factor that you can believe on the product because it has a warranty card of next 5 years. Brand reputation and trust is the last factor because they are not very brand conscious but they are more trust conscious. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points or 6 factors where they compare their products to purchase. They compare the information, the characteristics of the product they are planning to purchase. Acha, what shapes the evaluation of the information? The first factor is word of mouth or the reference group. Very strong word of mouth and the reference group works in rural belt, family, fellow farmers, sarpanch, the mukhya. These are the influencers. They usually shape the evaluation of the information they have gathered about the product. Local retailers, those shopkeepers who has a long lasting impression or the impact on the buying decision of the consumer, they also play a role. Demonstration, like local demonstration in SSG group, that is also equally influential in shaping the behavior of the people. Trip outside the village for high involvement product. Suppose you are selling a high involvement product where the customer need to understand the product by engaging himself thoroughly in dealing with the product. So they usually go outside of the village to collect the information and they always value the information they have collected from the reliable sources. Let's take an example. A buyer is planning to purchase a tractor. So, how he is purchasing? Before purchasing the tractor, he is talking to other farmers using specific brands. So, he has collected the information about the brands who are selling a tractor. So, after collecting the information on specific brands, he is talking to the fellow farmers of his village about the uses and the feedback of the tractor. Visit larger village dealers, recalls melas and watches the demonstration. They are not very particular. They are not in a hurry to purchase a tractor or a large ticket size product. They usually do all the thorough evaluation of the feedback or the information they have gathered about the product. Then only they go for the buying decision. They also go to the nearby showroom to see the tractor, to feel the tractor, to use the tractor for a demo ride, compares the maintenance cost, motor power, wheel size, lifting capacity, brand reputation, etc. Then they go for the buying decision. To summarize this entire process, so first what they are doing, they are doing repeated evaluation of the information about the product they are intended or planning to purchase, that is the tractor. They are going for peer proof or the farmers feedback on the particular product. They are going to the dealer point to see the product. They are also doing specific verification at the showroom and they are comparing the attributes or the characteristics of the tractor before doing the final choice. As we understood, they are very brand loyal, so they are always go by the brand they have used before. For example, they always go purchase the cycle of Hercules. If you remember, there is a brand on that produce cycles. If one person of the village has purchased a particular brand cycle and he is using it for since long, the other villages are also influenced by that decision and they will also purchase that particular brand cycle. So they are very loyal towards the brand. How it affects the marketers or how it is important for the marketers. Marketers should do what and what. Marketer will map the product specific evaluation criteria via field studies and surveys. Marketer need to come down to the rural belt to understand how these people are evaluating the information about the product by doing surveys, by talking to the village buyers, by taking their specific needs, Only through surveys and field studies they will do the specific evaluation of the product information. Provide side by side comparison sets to the villages so that it is easy for the village buyers to do the comparison through the marketers. And marketer will do the demonstration, the trial package demonstration or walkthroughs or unofficial meetings with the buyers to make the proper demonstration of the product to them. Then the marketer will train the retailers of the particular village so that they can also ensures the availability of the product, the demonstration of the product and the knowledge to the customers or the buyers. They can also use community proofs like user groups, cash boards at shops or SSG groups because they are the easy target who can spread the word of mouth easily to the marketers. So these are the steps a marketers can do, and it will definitely earn the results for the marketers. Acha, let's understand what are the key influences or key factors that influence the purchase decision. First factor is perceived risk. If the person is buying a tractor, what are the perceived risks? So the first point of a tractor buying, it's a larger ticket value or it's a product of higher value or higher price. So the buyer will first take the perceived risk for a tractor, for example, is the durability. How many years it can serve the farmer if he purchases it. If it is a tractor, what is the service availability from the dealer point? Because for the maintenance, he will go for service. Then the second point is attitude of others. What is the decision of his family, the opinion leaders, or in any influential person of his family if he purchased the particular brand's tractor. Unanticipated situational factors like discounts, vendor suggestion, and offers. If he is purchasing a product of higher price, he will always have a conscious note for discounts, vendor suggestion, and offers. Let's understand what is high ticket items, that product having higher price and higher commitment of paying. In that particular case, the buyer is also taking a taking longer duration to do the decision process because he is always taking the help of his family, this collective family decision, opinion leaders feedback, and many other factors like we discussed to pay the higher price for a high ticket items. So rural buyer usually behave like this. They always consider all these factors before going for purchase decision. So what is the role of influencer in that particular purchase decision? So role of who are the role of influencer? Like we talk about family, opinion leaders, and relatives. So they usually set the final decision. Female members are usually consulted for FMCG product because they are the last user or they are the final user. For example, Sakti Amma, he is a local influencer of a she is a local influencer of the villages, and she always influence the HUL purchases in village because she is the unofficial advertisement. She is the unofficial word of mouth. She is spreading about the uses of HUL products. Retailers' advice is always trusted by the rural buyers because they are seeing the shopkeepers in their village for a long time period. Trust and familiarity guide the final choices of buying process. Women are guided or women are taken into consideration while buying FMCG product, while Sarpanch teachers, local retailers shape the durable purchase decisions. So marketers need to leverage these influencers while introducing, selling their products in rural belt. So marketers need to understand personal selling tactics to reduce the risk. Service station nearby to build the trust of service availability. Partnership with NGOs, SSG groups, and retailers of the particular village. So that they can win the trust of the villagers or the local buyers. For example, farmer buying Jivan Shati Touch that prefers same brand batteries because other people in the village have already purchased that. So marketers need to understand their buying decision and need to behave as per their requirement only. After that, the post-purchase behavior will be assessed. Customer develops a favorable or unfavorable attitude after purchasing the service or the product. If the customer is satisfied, he will spread the positive word of mouth and loyalty towards the brand. If he is dissatisfied, what he will do? He will complain, he will return, he will not repurchase, he will spread the negative word of mouth. What is the important understanding here? Negative word of mouth spreads quickly rather than positive word of mouth. So marketer need to be very careful not to spread negative word of mouth about the product they are introducing or selling in rural belt. So post purchase experience is equally important for a marketer to understand and take steps as per the requirement. Acha, make marketer needs to make realistic brand promises to avoid over expectation of the over expectation or to satisfy over expectation of the buyer. Marketer needs to modify product to rural perception and needs. For example, you must have seen this sunsilk sachet in your local village market, and this was a famous innovative strategic movement of Chini Krishnan West in Tamil Nadu, who introduced the sachet concept to Indian market for Kevin Care's product long before MNCs woke up to the potential of the idea. So what he understood farmer can afford a small purchase or a small ticket size purchasing rather than a large ticket size purchasing. He can pay 2 rupees or 3 rupees or 5 rupees for a shampoo packet for a day's use. So he introduced this concept, and it was the well accepted strategy. People have accepted it, the rural buyers have accepted it, and he was popular for this sachet concept in rural belt. Ever-ready battery, they have shifted torch to plastic to brass from durability and salvage use. Godrej number one, affordable show via small packs and traditional media. So these are few strategies marketers have used to reach rural belt. What are the critical factors in rural buying process? Need recognition for the product, purchasing power of rural consumers, cost benefit analysis, society pressure on purchase decision, attitude towards products and brand. These are the critical factors, because sometimes the rural buyers is not very particular, not understanding what exactly he is looking for or what is the exact need of purchase, and the marketer need to understand. So every rural purchase balances four things: affordability, usefulness of the product, what is the societal approval, and the trust in the brand. If the marketer can understand these four things, it is easy for the marketers to introduce to sell the product in rural belt. In rural India, buying behavior is always shaped by culture, social factors, personal factors, and psychological factors. The key question for marketer is why rural consumers buy. If the marketer will search the answer to the question, things will be easy for the marketers, right? So let's understand the role of culture in buying decision of a marketer. What is culture? Culture is a combination of beliefs, value, norms, and customer tradition. So culture is a process there they have adapted on their adapted by their heredity, like by their generation on generation they have adapted the culture. It's a combination of their belief system, the values, the norms, the customs, and it is deeply rooted. Rural migrants to cities remain in their cultural values. Suppose, for an example, there is a rural buyer, Pratap Lal Singh, who has shifted from the neem dantun to Colgate because, but kept hygiene rituals. He must have accepted the need of doing brushing in a normal neem patta. Now he is using Colgate, but keeping his culture in a proper position, because he understood Colgate is also keeping that cultural values high. So culture is central to rural life and continues even after migration. Urban exposure may add new habits, but cultural roots remain strong. So it's a point for the marketers to understand while designing their product and introducing their product to the rural buyers. And for example, there are many products like Cadbury Choco Bits. Cadbury is known for the chocolates, but Cadbury has introduced the cookies, and people have accepted cookies over chocolates. Godrej Sikakai, herbal hair soap, trusted over beauty. Dawar Lal Tel, endorsed by midwives for baby care. So rural people have accepted that. Fevicol, Hathi Chhap, elephant logo symbolizes the strength of the gum or the adhesive. LG Sampurna TV, regional language supported the buyers to trust on this particular product. So brand success or the success of the brands is always rooted how beautifully they are connecting with the belief system, tradition and symbols the rural buyers are usually relating to. Next, it comes to tradition or custom buying. Purchases avoided during rituals like Pitra Paksha. People don't buy in rural belt during that particular Pitra Paksha. They usually observe that and don't buy during that particular period. So marketers need to understand that. Buying habits or buying behavior enhances during the period of marriage, pregnancy and festival shopping. Family elders are consulted before major purchases and normal weekly hats, melas and bazaars are preferred for shopping habits. So tradition strongly influence timings and type of the purchase. What are the subcultures? Subcultures are related to religion, caste, reason and language. Subculture make rural India highly diverse. A marketer must customize approaches based on the local tradition and practice. Let's say Punjabi culture, they are more related to their food, dress, and lassis. And marketer need to understand their particular type of subculture if they are introducing a different flavored lassi in Punjab. So let's understand what is socio-economic classification in rural India so that the marketer can understand the purchase power of the buyers. R1 denotes to graduate and Pakka house. They are having more purchasing power. They usually purchase in bulk or larger size. R2, those people are having higher secondary qualification with Pakka house. They are known as the moderate consumers. They don't usually buy in small sachets or larger sizes. They usually buy in a moderate size. R3 and 4, the R4, these are the lower categories, buy from local shops and weekly hats. R1 and R2, these contribute to 18% of the consuming classes. R3 and R4 remaining at 81%. So it is clear in understanding the major rural belt is buying from the local shops and in the format of sachet buying. Social factors like rural decision making is a collective process. Before buying any product, they used to go for a collective decision making process where references group, family, social status guide the purchase behavior, makes buying process longer but ensure trust and acceptance. References group, these are also key influencers like we discussed about the village leaders. They usually shape the buying process of a rural buyer, educated youth, new opinion leaders due to urban exposure and internet, celebrities like Amitabh Bachchan, he's a trusted person. So people of rural belt usually trust this kind of endorsement and sometimes corporate use of opinion leaders. HUL has used Shakti Ammas, Hero Honda's Har Gaon, Har Angan with rural sales executive. Tata Shakti use Manshun as influencer, Colgate school teacher campaign. These are all for successful advertisement because they have connected with the rural people psychology. Role of word of mouth and what are the strategies? As we understood, word of mouth, both these are two types. One is positive, another is negative, but strongest influence in rural buying. Informal chat at tea shops, hats, mandis usually shape the buying decision of the customer. Opinions leaders spread word of mouth for brands they trust. Marketers need to identify early adapters and what is the pattern of spreading pattern of word of mouth and who are the influencer so that it will be easier for them to innovate the strategy of introducing and selling their product in rural market. Next it comes as a family as a buying unit. Family, as we understood, it is the central decision making body for any durable product like TV, bike, or insurance. It is usually dominated by family head. Household goods like spices, utensil, and furniture, women are consulted because they will be used again. Children are consulted while purchasing the toys, the confectionaries, the notebook, the shoes, and the school items. If it comes to joint family, larger appliances like big size fridge, washing machine, then the custom buyer usually take the consultation of these big family or joint families. The family roles are divided. Men dominate durable purchases, women decide household items, and children increasingly influence lifestyle products. For example, Videocon washing machine, no dryer. Cost of that particular washing machine was 3000 rupees. During the year 96 and 99 has seen 100% growth in selling this particular type of washing machine without a dryer, because they targeted joint families whose need was only to wash the clothes, because joint family has a huge volume of clothes to wash, but they didn't want a dryer. So Videocon customized the washing machine and sold it in a lesser price, saw the 100% growth in sales. Rural household prefer large metallic refrigerators because they want durability of the product. Expenditure rising on education, medical care, and entertainment nowadays in rural belts. So marketers need to understand these factors, the influence of joint families, the need creation in joint families, and shaping the how do they shape the buying behavior for the better marketing activities. Roles and status in rural society. High status group like pradhans, religious leaders, retired officials, and landowners, they usually influence the buying decision of the people because they remain in a high status group. People usually people having less education and in the SE social economic classification of R3 or R4, they usually depend on pradhans, religious leaders, and retired officials or landowners for their buying decision. Progressive farmers respected for knowledge and tech adoption. There is a different category who is now that is emerging now in village, that is known as progressive farmers. They are respected for their knowledge and technology adoption. So marketer need to understand how to sell their product or agriculture related product to this category of progressive farmers. Women status improving via self-help group and jobs influences these women influence purchase of health related product, hygiene related product, and nutrition related products. Marketers target status holders for demonstration like Asian Paints via village mukhya, because people usually have trust on that particular person of the village, because he is the person who is attached with the villages not for a day or two, he is attached with the villages for a longer duration of time. Status is crucial in rural society. People with social standing influence others' purchases regardless of income. Increasingly, progressive farmers and women are also gaining influence. So, these factors are equally important for the marketers to do their marketing activities. But let's understand what are the key takeaways for marketers. They need to understand reference groups and word of mouth is vital for rural marketing. You cannot avoid. Family is the core buying unit, role specific decision of buying process of a rural buyer. Status symbols and local leaders accelerate product adoption and creation of need. Companies should use opinion leaders, leverage family dynamics, respect local tradition and hierarchy while planning their marketing activities for rural belt. To penetrate in rural market, marketers must align with community leaders, family decision structures, and status system. Products spread when trusted influencers endorse them. It is quite easy now to understand, as we discussed in length, how these factors are influencing the buying behavior of the rural buyer, so that marketers need to redesign or innovate or do the strategic design for the marketing activity for their marketing activities. Acha. So now let's understand what are the personal factors consumer behavior shaped by age, occupation, income, lifestyle, and personality. You may be surprised how it is related to all these personal factors. Yes, people have different choices as per their age. A person at mid 40s, they will go for different kind of buying behavior. Towards 60, 65, or 70, they have a different kind of buying behavior. Differences in rural and urban, tradition and modern influences. Rural people are guided by tradition and culture, whereas urban people are influenced by modern uses of the product. Marketers must segment and target using these factors. Personal factors drive why two rural households may choose different products. By studying age, occupation, and lifestyle, marketers can identify needs and position of the products in a better way. Age affects consumption pattern. There is a table in your material, you can also refer that. India is having 50% below 25 years of age, two-third below 35 years of age. So naturally, we are understanding India is in a youth state. So the buyers are more aspirational and brand conscious because their age is influencing their choices of the product. Marketers target rural youth through engaging campaigns. In India's young rural population is a strong driver for consumption. Marketers design youth-centric promotion as the segment influences both their peers and families. So the key takeaway from this slide is India is in youth state. Most of the buyers are under the age of 35. So marketers need to take care of their need by understanding their psychology of buying decision. Next, it comes to occupation and buying behavior. Purchasers needs aligned with work retirement. Farmer, their need is to wear kurta, dhotis, and pesticides because they will purchase these items. Post office workers, their occupation is official job. They will go for shirt and pants purchase. Carpenters, they will go for the tools purchase as per their occupation requirement. Occupation decides the necessity or the need of purchase. A farmer will prioritize farm inputs while a shopkeeper will buy the stock, and seasonality add further complexity to the rural purchase as per the requirement of the particular season. If it is a Rakhi, there will be requirement of or need of people at rural belt to purchase Rakhi. If it is Holi, they will purchase the colors. Likewise, if it is a festival in their particular location, they will purchase the items that is related to that celebration. Next, it comes to income and income range of the particular buyers because it decides what it decides the purchase power of the buyers. This shows supplementary occupation can change the demands. Let's say example of Assam farmer Madhusudan Dhingia. What he does, he is doing cultivation, fish farming, poultry, and earned a higher income for the higher income, and he has a higher purchasing power. So Green Pin Company entered to that particular district to sell their fishing equipment, and their target is to sell the fishing equipment to Madhusudan India. He has the power to purchase it. So this shows what? This shows how supplementary occupation can change the demand of the product and the affordability of the customers to buy that product. Then it comes to economic situation and income and spending. Average monthly household income is around 8,059 rupees in every household, and average expenditure is around 6,646. Lives and it shows that there is some disposable income that is available with the rural buyer. How do they spend? Their priorities of spendings are education, medical, social occasion, and assets. High income, they usually prefer cash because status issues with credit. They don't go by the credit issues. They don't avail the credit system from the local shopkeepers. Low income group, they save through post office FDs for future purchase. So this is the way they used to spend and they used to save. Rural purchasing power is rising, but still in a conservative pattern. Understanding spending pattern is vital for designing installment schemes or affordable packs of their product. Lifestyle changes in rural market. Rising education, mobile internet access is changing the lifestyle of the rural people. Preference for branded products like Royal Enfield, Samsung, LG campaigns, they are now also getting conscious for this brand. Dabur Chyawanprash is a health focused product and it was highly in demand during COVID. Niha Naturals, Chota Kadam Pragati Ki or children's education CSR activities, and these are also popular in rural market. Local ambassadors and regional stars build stronger trust in shaping the buying decision of the product. Lifestyle changes are visible in brand adoption. Slowly, the rural buyer is adapting or showing interest to branded product. Linking products to health, progress, social responsibility helps campaigns to get the connectivity with the rural buyers. Lifestyle example, for example, let's discuss Media exposure like TV or internet drives the aspiration for new products. Migration and industrialization, hybrid consumption pattern in bias. The person who has migrated from a village to the city for the occupation, he is showing a different hybrid pattern of consumption. He has the culture rooted purchase behavior. He is again also getting media exposure, and now what he is doing, he is showing the migrated person or migrated buyer is showing a hybrid consumption pattern, having few product purchase behavior rooted to the tradition he has or the culture he has, and another few he is purchasing due to the media exposure. Rural melas hearts remain still the key element or key platform of purchase decision, but rural youth demand global brands available to them. Marketer must balance tradition with aspiration. Campaigns need to respect culture while offering the modern appeal to the product. Next is personality and self concept. What is personality? Individual characteristics. Self concept is self image in the society. How do you carry yourself in your society? If you are using this product and you are a teacher by occupation, your personality is understood by the society as a sober and down to earth person. But if you are using a Royal Enfield bike, it is not, it is contradicting with your personality. So people used to buy as per their personality and their self concept. Purchase decision aligned with personality traits. If you are a person of conservative mindset, you will purchase from the you will purchase tea, and you will prefer to have local namkeen with tea. If you are a person of sports minded, you will go for diet health products or trendy products. So this is as per the personality of the local buyers. Situational variation, social gathering versus travel snacks. If it is a social gathering or a marriage function in your village, they will go for the normal, typical or traditional uses of the product. But if it is a travel, or you are packing your bags for a travel with your close groups out from your village, you will definitely adapt to different brands product. You will go for snacks item that is not easily available in your village, but you will start adapting to that particular snacks item. Let's say it is baked chips. In a social gathering of village, you will not get that baked chips or potato chips. Yeah, but while you are traveling with your close group out from your village, your need is changing, your purchase habit is changing. So rural buyers relate personality to products. A farmer may enjoy chai at home but buy packed food or snacks while traveling outside. Self concept often determines the brand choice because people are getting identified by the product they are using. Next, it comes celebrity endorsement and personality fit. Juhi Chawla, that we all know her, she is doing the advertisement for Kurkure in a very homely and cheerful manner. So people are connecting with them. Amir Khan is doing a Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola advertisement. People are also relating to that particular advertisement. So marketers are doing this type of campaign, keeping in mind multiple rural friendly avatars as the endorsement actors connected directly with the rural consumer's personality. Matching celebrity characteristics with brand image creates emotional bonding of the buyer with the product. Coca-Cola's rural campaign is a classic case of personality marketing because they are connecting Amir Khan's personality with Coca-Cola's. Likewise, Amitabh Bachchan personality with polio advertisement. They are getting conscious for their polio doses because a connecting person or related person is doing that particular endorsement for polio doses for the children. Psychological factors that is also influencing the rural buying behavior. Key psychological factors like motivation, perception, learning, beliefs, and attitudes. Marketers must understand this to penetrate in rural market. Rural consumer differ from urban because they are not that risk taking. They are not having that habit of taking higher risk. Rural consumers focus on basic and safety nets and prefer gold, land, liquid to invest because they understand these will help them at the time of need. Social prosperity linked to tractors, marriages, community, and recognition, they also prefer to spend for these. Motivation usually happens with the local rural buyer through their opinion leaders and influencers. After sale services, if they are having warranties and guarantees, they are motivated to purchase that product. So, marketer must motivate rural consumers by reducing the risk and showing social benefits. Opinion leaders like Sarpanch or influencers like Sakti Ammas also play a crucial role in motivating rural buyers to purchase product. Next comes perception. How do they perceive things or products? And perception saves product acceptance. Positive association like Lifebuoy, so is for hardworking people. Boost drink is for the energy in children. Parle-G, it is having glucose strength. This is how these people are perceiving products. They are associating a kind of characteristics or a characteristics with the product. In some time, there are many examples also. There is a product on Henko, and in Marathi, hey, they are not accepting this product because Nako means in Marathi, Nako means no. So they are just not accepting this product because of the name that goes Hey Nako. Nako is no in Marathi, failure, and if this product is a failure product or failed product in Maharashtra. Dabur Tulsi tooth powder, people have not accepted it, rejected it because Tulsi is usually perceived as a pious or a holy or a sacred item of your life, of everybody's life. So marketer need to do the strategic adoption or strategy for this to how to adapt product design, names, packaging and communication. Perception can make or break a brand in rural India. Marketers must align brand names, product design, and packaging with local cultural belief system. Next is learning. Learning because continuously these people are learning about the product features, and it is a continuous process through exposure to the TV or internet, through demonstration or through the word of mouth. Even with low literacy rate, rural buyers learn through demonstration, guidance from the village, knowledgeable villages, media, and internet influencers. So, demonstration and sampling are critical for rural buyers because consumers trust what they can see, touch, and try by themselves. So, for durable products, it is usually important for the marketers to display the learning through demonstration, and for FMCG product through trial packs, because after using the trial packs they will learn is it good for them or it is not that useful product for them. Beliefs and attitude, this is again important for the buying decision process. Attitude is what, how they are making opinion about the product. So there are three portions of the attitude. One is cognitive, what is the knowledge they are having about the product through the information search, plus how do they feel about the product, plus how do they behave about the product. So rural beliefs, heavy wristwatch durable, they believe that if I am having a heavy wristwatch, it is durable. So for hygiene, still difficult to accept in rural belt because they are not very hygiene oriented. Packed ghee and milk, less trusted than loose packets or loose because they trust on their local people who used to supply in liters or in they used to carry milk in garlands and used to distribute by visiting individual houses because they trust that person rather than Amul's packet ghee or milk. Small pack strategies worked for Colgate, Maggie, Pond's, and Rasna. Usha swing machine, a popular product, black heavy economy model is usually preferred and it was highly popular in rural belt. So changing rural beliefs takes time. Brands succeeded by adapting small affordable packs, culturally accepted products and educating consumers through fairs and local influences. With this, we are ending with the chapter that is understanding rural consumers and understanding their buying behavior. What are the psychological factors? What are the social factors? Who are the influencer to save their buying behavior? We also understand the steps of buying behavior or buying decision making process, and a marketer can usually take the notes of these particular factors while deciding strategies or designing the products for rural belt. Thank you.